Hey guys, welcome back to another one of these operational records in the Divergent universe. There's, at time of recording, 9 days left before they rework it, so this time we'll be reading about Remembrance. Scholar of Candles is our first story. In the cramped library, you slowly leaf through the book, but the pages have been devoured by worms. The million defenders of the Battle of Yolanda happen to be ravaged by the bookworms. In that case, how could they withstand the onslaught of the true sting? Furiously, you turn to the next chapter and find, much to your chagrin, that Nevado's death is falsely written. The chapter claims that he is still alive, and he is merely hiding in the shadows of a small asteroid belt. That is outright absurd. You've decided to fix these memories, filling up the gaps by seeking the truth in the sepia past. Then you will cut away the twisted and fabricate the chapters to set the record straight. Finally, you mend the wounds of the tattered book and wait until the bleeding stops before you smooth the pages and put it back in the library and archives. You are the repairman of history who fills in the missing holes and purges the tainted past. Scholar of Candles? I'm surprised there's nothing really about candles in this. I guess the remembrance symbol is a candle. Maybe the candles refer to remembering something, because when you're remembering a loved one that died, you also burn a candle in Catholicism, for example. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but in some other religions you actually burn incense sticks. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what it refers to. The next story is Biographer. Do you like listening to stories? The thrilling adventures and epic love stories of others are akin to the stalactites in a cave, as they are invaluable treasures formed by the drip of memories. An elderly lady lets out a guffaw. She was once hit by a meteorite during her voyage in the Unicorn Nebula, but ran into a long-lost friend on the rescue ship. A general is in tears. His fleet suffered a crushing defeat in the deciding battle in the Yellow Citrus Nebula due to his erroneous judgment. Having lost 3 arms, he also can no longer fly with his huge scale wings. You write down their stories, laughing and crying along with them. Who doesn't know you? You're a biographer from New Londinium. Shush, listen carefully. The next story is coming. So it sounds like the biographer is trying to put memories down on paper so they will not be forgotten with time. I think every single story will be about writing down something, taking note of something, or discovering something from the past, maybe. That's why the next story is Armed Archaeologist Team. How to unearth the past from the sand. The 3-horned boar leviathans have faded into the sea formed from mountain ranges. The one-eyed cannibal polyps have vanished in the glow of colony ships. The scanner meticulously takes in every bone and imprint, leaving nothing behind. They build in tattered fragments, waiting for you to sort them out. The stones contain the records of the past, and you see a sea of flowers within the granular fruits. The Doniates eat the fruits and scatter them to the other end of the continent during their migratory flight. Web-like towers erected on the edges of the continent evolve into golden plants that grow in the crevices of the soil. Then the heat wave comes, followed by the algal bloom that brings the ancient cycle to an end. You gather the carbonized past and narrate the secrets of bygone days in the present. So this sounds like somebody who's digging up things, but it sounds... You see a sea of flowers within the granular fruits. And then something about animals or a species scattering seeds all over the continent. But that doesn't sound like anything an archaeologist team would do. The next story is Memory Doctor. You gently stir the ends of memory, extracting a strand of pain and then throwing it into an abandoned memory bubble tank. Having experienced separation from his beloved family in the Great Evacuation and the death of his long-capped intelli-tail songbird in the cage following a contaminant leak in the Cuvida Nebula, a depressed young man became withdrawn to the whole world and came to you, hoping to have his whole life deleted. You open up the backup memory bank. Warriors heading to the battlefield and travelers on an expedition gave you their memories in return for your treatment. Meticulously, you select a suitable medicine and mix them according to the correct proportion. An unbreakable promise, the determination to rebuild broken homes, and insignificant changes are enough to embolden a person to overcome reality. As he embarks on the journey to reunite with his family, you close the door and take a short break. It sounds like the memory doctor is someone who tries to help people overcome fears, things that they don't want to deal with. It's a bit sad though, like having lost everything. At least maybe the fix that the memory doctor did for him maybe helps him overcome, helps him actually like move forward, find his family again. Who knows? The next story is Astral Computer. This is such a long story. You immerse in the coolant as data passes through the pipe. In the era where the stars were in their past positions and the entire universe was cold and silent, the greedy scholars built enormous eyes in the darkness in an attempt to view all the colors of the future. Their future turned out to be much shorter than imagined, but these eyes remembered everything. You predicted the birth and death of the stars. The changes took place quickly. They were devoured by ancient beasts and visited by the swarm. Soon, the surrounding became quiet again, and only the eyes remembered the stages. Without you realizing it, the nomads who wandered here established a new nation on your body. They were once ambitious until their idealistic nation was drowned by war. Only you remember it. It seems like the Astral Computer might be a planet where people come and go on top of its surface. The next story has an extrapolation rewind. It's called Silent Hunter. For the royals and nobles of court, as well as the luminaries with their masteries, their deeds are known throughout the universe to all who hear their tales. But to you, this is the most banal story of them all. How would youngsters aboard subspace warp jump ships even imagine that in the gloomy underground there are mine-digging Telarians who have never even linked up with the Interastral Peace Network before? Those ostentatious merchants sipping on fine wine at Pier Point, they could never hear the lamentations of the hyper-distant delivery porters. Their voices are too meek, like the snow in early winter, never fully formed before they melt. You will howl in the stead of those muted throats, to let the universe hear the voices of the dust. You will infiltrate the pitch-black nocturne, to tell the people not to go quietly in the night. You are recording the joys in the dirt-treated woods spied by others, recording the tragedies and evils in the battlefields of dictators and butchers. If all of humanity has lost its voice, then you will become their final tongue. The extrapolation rewind is as follows. You are falling. Gravity tears at your body as you grit your teeth, waiting for the landing capsule's indicator to decrease. Camouflaging yourself as a harmless asteroid is the only way to bustle through the Korgagar Imperial Army's blockade. Tightening your suspenders, only 7 tubes of life-supporting tincture and an anti-jamming device can be squashed into the extremely cramped suitcase. Eject away. Apparently, success rates for ejected landings are only about 8.2%, which is far lower than traditional landings like spaceship soft landings, parachutes, or hang gliders. That is, so long as there's no laser grid combing the night sky. The Imperial Army claim that a horde of bloodthirsty devils lurk in the southern mountain ranges of Korgahar. They are beastly to behold, boasting dozens of limbs and heads, and can obliterate towns with their consumption bombs. But your intuition informs you otherwise, as one of them fails to make a sound, and you don't want to believe a tyrant. So, you intend to try and take a gamble, wanting to meet those monsters and to record an act of violence with your own life. Violence from the demons or violence from the Empire? I'm going to say Empire. As you move at a high speed, your eyes discern that the trail of smoke in the distance is drawing nearer, as if warfare were steaming towards you, rather than you speeding towards it. It drifts along the bright exterior wall of the Imperial City and permeates into the scorched earth. You see someone waving to you, a future friend. They look a little rough around the edges, exhausted but still smiling. This may just be destiny, or this is exactly what I'm looking for. Just be my destiny. Ignoring the mud that splashed all over you as you landed, you hurry towards them to take a photo. No matter if you survive the war or not, the truth will be recorded so that it can be circulated one day. So the Silent Hunter, I'm curious if the Silent Hunter refers to them being silent as in unseen, going through like blockades, going through blockades or like tiptoeing around things so he wouldn't be seen by the authorities. Maybe that's what it refers to. The next one is called Garden of Recollection. In a flourishing world of opulence, never before set foot upon by Mimo keepers, you weave a brand new visage. Not too young, not too old, a face not even a mirror can capture, only in the eyes of people as you elegantly stroll along the alleyways. You trade candy for a night of adventure from the songs of a shepherd boy and pluck a distant lover from the eyes of a sorrowful youngster. You retrieve a comrade's countenance for a wizened man, and he gives you the tragic war campaign of when the heavenly tower was toppled. Intelligent life, nothing more than mayflies in the folds of the universe. From faraway grasslands to warp jump stations that occupy half a city, their builders have experienced long stints of life. But these barely compare to the time it took for red feather wolves to evolve. You know that the stories before you will eventually fade away, but in the paradise that transcends the physical there are memories that remain immortal. The Garden of Recollection also has an extrapolation rewind, but I will have to read it from the site as I was not able to get it before recording. The thing that I do know, you do encounter a character from the Garden of Recollection and she will help you in one of the parts of the story. Definitely play the main story, by the way. It's actually really interesting in my opinion for a space sci-fi game. The Garden of Recollection extrapolation rewind goes as follows. Who are you? A ghost floating here in space? No. This liberation from the body is something known as a meme. It was in Thalia, your hometown, with all its nuclear waste and mutant rats that they heard your prayer and revealed themselves to you. Your hometown? Isn't your home system Heldorin? Your foster dad, who worked so hard to bring you up, sent you off to Arboran on a transport vessel. There you murdered a highly respected architect and were sentenced to death, whereupon you were tossed into the upper atmosphere and burned to ashes. The two choices you get are, that seems a little messed up, or, I don't know, the first half lines of up with the second half. I don't think the first half lines up with the second half, I'm going to say. Quick, run! You spin around with no idea where to run. Let's go to the New Londinium. But your ship has just had one of its engines shot up by a passing bounty hunter. Fool! Karchen is smaller than Van Wak, so you could always paddle across. After far too much cloning and going back and forth, the collected memories piled up inside the body haphazardly. Unbound, they collide with each other in the information medium of memes, blurring the original sense of cognition. Before they devour you, you must go back there. Back where? And also, who are you? The two choices you get are a meme or I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know. Following the road in your memory, you see that pure, beautiful stretch of the world unfold before you. It peels off your corrupted exterior and seals it all away. The tide inside your heart washes over and over your existence, cleansing away all the filth and leaving behind a thread of authenticity, your pure self. You only get one option, a memo keeper. You float into peacefully blankness like a cloud, emotionless as you return to tranquility. I think memo keepers are the ones that collected the memories and stuff for the Garden of Recollection, if I'm correctly remembering it. The next one is Cognition Reviewer. You fall to the ground intentionally and, as he helps you to your feet, his fingertips brush past your neck like a sickle, severing the memories lurking deep in your subconscious. Toxic data like thick, black blood. He had glimpsed these memories in the after-midnight internet. They silently take root in the host's mind and quietly wait for the host to become insane in the corrosion. But now they have been reduced to no more than ashes in the palm of a hand. Stowaway electronic life forms. An infectious mimetic virus. They tarnish the sacred memories and lurk in the cracks of subconsciousness that even the sun cannot perceive. You transform into death and walk among the masses, joining these beings in a game of cat and mouse, uprooting the filth immediately and locking them away in jail. In this world, there are things that must be done, as well as memories that must not be retained. The mimetic virus you'll also come across when you meet, I think it's Kappa or Jappa. There's a mimetic virus that you'll encounter. It's actually I found it funny at the start, but I got a bit much by the end of it because of all the names for it. The next story is Wandering Meme. There is a word that even the wealthiest merchants of Pierpoint will happily drop into a joke to lighten the air. There is a story that spreads through the network, and hackers happily talk about it before spreading it far and wide throughout the universe. You cast aside your cumbersome body and compile all of your information into a meme. Whenever someone taps to play, a new copy of you is born in their language center. Their brain decodes modern slang and stores it in their data, where a new self takes root in their cognition. Like a worm attached onto words and jokes, it crawls along the trails of the synesthesia beacon towards the conscious being that accepted the infection. There is a meme that lurks within the fashionable, swims in the current of the popular, and silently becomes a parasite in the memories of humankind. The Wandering Meme sounds a bit like the mimetic virus I was talking about. When you encounter it, you'll know which one I mean. The next story is Mausoleum of Scars. Nothing is permanent, not even permanence itself. People's bodies decay, stories fade away, and the third death, named Forgotten, will always lie in wait. You recall the great tree that stood in front of your gate as a child. Its branches broke, its sap flowed like weeping pus, then it made a full recovery. That repulsive scar will remain with it for eternity, until the soil becomes poison and the buildings collapse to the ground one after one. You want to leave a scar on the universe too, to make it suffer and remember your name. The pulverized stars burst into brilliant light, and the destructive scene is bored into the eyes of all living beings, ensuring that the fear of this day is passed down to every generation for eternity. The call of death advances towards the end of the world, and thus millennia later, when even the amber that constructs the walls crumbles, there will still be those on distant shores who can see the delayed death race. The hands of time have stopped and your moment is no more. Only the scars of havoc still carry its stories of the past, told between nightmares in song. There's an extrapolation rewind for this one. It sounds really sad though. Like somebody that feels some kind of... It almost feels like hatred, wanting to leave a scar. But, or, what is it called in English? When you bite back at something. I forgot the name for it exactly. Extrapolation rewind goes as follows. As you open your eyes, a giant void engulfs you. You begin to be broken down over and over, then fall endlessly. Your brain is buzzing as you try to search for past memories, but to no avail. The deathly silent space structure contains ripples, waves of information, sharper than a black hole, softer than death, and carrying the scent of explosives, laughter, and Bathian coffee. It endlessly devours material and information of the past, like a sea creature from a classic story lurking in a deep whirlpool. The two options are a scar on the universe or a depression in space-time. I'll go with a scar. You begin to remember the scene you saw on arrival. Lilac nebulae blooming like flowers, clouds of dust flowing through radio currents, countless ships undulating among them as the blazing blue lights of the engines shine brighter than even the stars. But at this moment, there is nothing but deafening silence. Two options. The explosion devoured everything, or destruction will remember everything. I'm going to say remember. You allow your consciousness to grow lighter than your body and ascend to greater heights. Gravity stops your escape as it locks down your trunk and pulls apart your heart. Then you finally glimpse the scar, the vortex torn into being from the explosion of destruction. Does the universe bleed? Does it cry? No one can answer these questions of yours. You sacrificed even your own life for the sake of the scar. It is so beautiful as it sinks in grace, until all life falls silent and the last intelligent life form is broken down into nothing. This scar will never be healed. never to be forgotten. You see what looks like a baby before you, one that will never grow older, but remains curled up in the crevice of death, forever sobbing in pain. They swallow you into their mouth as they swallow the stars above. This is your final epitaph. Mausoleum of Scars sounds really sad though. A mausoleum is usually used to remember people's, like, their accomplishments and stuff. Sometimes mausoleums have writings on the inside next to their actual grave. But some mausoleums just get forgotten, and when you find them again after so many times, or so many years, centuries, whatever, the stories are forgotten, the letters are just eroded. So in a way I do get what they're trying to say here. The next story is Purifier. A child stunned by the sight of the Antimatter Legion battle loses his mind forever. An old man, enchanted by the miracles of Yaoshi, sets out on a relentless quest for immortality. Consciousness births pain, and memory begets sorrow. If there is anything that gives rise to the suffering of reality, it is the tainted past of sapient minds. You erase the memory of happiness so that no one may ever feel the sting of pain. You shatter the memory of prosperity so that the gaze is never known again. Passing by planet after planet steeped in sorrow, you silence their cries. You obliterate the disappointed yesterdays so that they may become weightless. The second purest thing in this world is the newborn child, untouched by knowledge, but the first are the stones by the river, for they exist beyond the reach of cognition. Purifier. It sounds a bit like somebody that tries to erase things from the world that they see as impure or they see as bad. Passing by planet after planet steeped in sorrow, you silence their cries. So like, what is he trying to do? Because it sounds bad in a way as well, where he silenced the cries of people that are steeped in sorrow. Like a planet that, for example, had war happen to them is going to be steeped in sorrow, and silencing their cries just means eradicating everyone. That sounds like a bad thing. The last story is Bookwriter. How many stories fade into oblivion as if they never existed? You have watched the fleet loaded with energy storage receptacles plunge into the depths of interstellar energy war, never to return. Your friends, your loved ones. You've roamed the crystalline planet where cloudbirds soared with their ion-combed feathers, only to see it vanish from existence. Your hometown, your home planet. How many hardships and heroes have faded into the annals of time, as if they never arrived or made an effort? You must pierce the blackened memoria, fishing for the memory fragments it has consumed, and inscribe them on the pages of history. You will prove their footprints in the empty bowels of nihility. Your body has been eroded to the point where distinguishing reality from dreams is impossible. Yet you must continue to pen books for the universe. Bookwriter sounds a little bit like somebody who's writing for the sake of writing. Like, they're writing down everything that they remember, but with time, memories fade. With time, things become a bit distorted. Like, for example, I used to play on the PlayStation. So, where I live, there was this game with a skeleton, and I think it was a Spartan Total Warrior game as well. And I remember the Spartan Total Warrior game being fun and looking so good and everything like that. But when I look back on it now, it can hold up, right? It holds up very well for a PlayStation 1 game. But the graphics are so different. But I remember them being so good. When I look at them now, they aren't. So it's a perception that changes over time, and memories also change over time. You get this rose-colored glasses over memories that you enjoy. So the book writer might just be writing books for the sake of writing books, to fill the universe with things to read or make people happy, or, you know. Either way, that is the last one for Remembrance. I have Nihility, Abundance, The Hunt, and Destruction left. So there's 4 more left. I am going to read Nihility in the next one. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for being here. If there's anything that you want me to read as well, please let me know in the comments. If there is another game that you would like me to go through, gather the material from Laura and stuff for, let me know as well. Please leave a like, it does help bring this to other people that haven't seen my videos before. Thank you for being here, have a nice day, have a nice night, have a nice evening or morning, and see you guys next time.